At 6:45 a.m. on March 1, 1954, the crew of a Japanese tuna boat saw a second sunrise rise out of the western Pacific. The boat was the Daigo Fukuryu Maru, the Lucky Dragon No. 5, working tuna lines about 80 miles east of Bikini Atoll. There were 23 men aboard, most of them from the Japanese port of Yaizu on the Shizuoka coast. Their longline gear ran for miles, and they had been at sea since January. None of the crew had heard of an American hydrogen bomb test called Castle Bravo because almost no one outside a close circle of American officers had. What no one in either country expected was how much bigger the bomb would be than its designers thought. Castle Bravo was the first United States test of a deliverable thermonuclear weapon built around a solid lithium deuteride fuel core. The designers used a fuel mostly made of lithium-6, certain that the lithium-7 mixed in with it would sit out the reaction. They were wrong. Lithium-7 captured the neutrons of the first fission stage and split, pouring fresh tritium into the chain reaction. Just before 7 o'clock in the morning local time, the device fired on Namu Islet at the northwest rim of the atoll. It vaporized 3 small islets and gouged a crater more than a mile wide and 250 feet deep into the reef. The designers had predicted 6 megatons. It produced 1580 miles east. The men of the Daigo Fukuryu Maru saw the western sky go bright as noon. 7 minutes after the flash, a shock wave rolled across the boat, low and grinding. About 3 hours later, a fine white powder began to drift down through the air. It looked like snow. Crewmen scooped it up in their fingers and pressed it into the palms of their hands. It was coral, vaporized off the reef by the fireball and carried east on the upper atmosphere winds. It was also intensely radioactive. The ash fell on the deck, on the ketch, in the men's hair, in the salt left on their skin from work. By the time the boat turned for Japan, the load on its rigging was enough to give every man aboard acute radiation sickness. The Daigo Fukuryu Maru reached Yaizu on March 14th. The crew were jaundiced and their hair was falling out, and the tuna they had caught was burning the inside of a Geiger counter. The Japanese government tested both, and a national panic followed. Contaminated fish were buried in pits, the tuna market collapsed, and the United States quietly paid the Japanese fishery around $2 million in compensation. 6 months after the test, the boat's chief radio operator, a man named Eikichi Kuboyama, died in a Tokyo hospital of complications of radiation sickness. He was 40. The American Test Commission had certified him irradiated but not in serious danger. The boat itself is now in a glass shed in Tokyo. The plaque inside it names Kuboyama as the first man killed by a hydrogen bomb.